Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
We are back again. How's everybody doing?
I'm
doing
pretty
good.
Glonky.
I'm still a little jet lagged, but
Yeah.
we're living.
Where'd you lag the jet from?
I Ghana, Africa.
Did you forget?
I was
You
trying
really
to
are
figure out how I
jet-lagged.
wanted to respond to that, and I couldn't grasp it in enough time.
Firmly grasp it.
What was happening in Ghana?
I was doing some video work and some touring through the mission field of my good friend Daniel. Obviously, he's super cool.
Why are you talking about
This is
yourself?
Daniel
in the third
talking,
person?
not Jason talking. But yeah, it was really fun. The videos were really cool. It's learning more about the mission that he's doing over there and more about his ministry and his very specific part of the ministry. It's very cool.
That's awesome. That's
word.
awesome, guys.
Video out at some point about it. I don't know. Not on this page.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I've seen a few of your drone clips, and they're pretty sweet, pretty swanky. So if you need drone work, call Dan. He's got it. He's got it on lock.
Yeah, I got you.
I just wanted to ask y'all a very crucial question for today's episode to get us rolling. And you, the listener, please answer yourself. We won't hear you, but we'll know.
But we'll give you an opportunity to answer on Spotify.
Well, exactly. So the question is,
Red Velvet.
Nope, you didn't let me ask. Who was your Disney crush growing up? That's cartoons, on shows, whatever. Like from any Disney, and I'm not counting Star Wars. Does not count. It came later, unless you say Rey, and then I'm concerned. But
Ray is my favorite Disney princess.
Childhood Disney crush.
Who would you like to answer first?
Whoever's ready. It may be the better way to do. Dan, give it to me.
Super easy question, super easy answer. Kim Possible. It's not even close.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's not even close. I think for a lot of people that awakened the Mr. Barkin. For a lot of people, I think Kim Possible opened the idea that gingers were worth being in a relationship with.
Okay. Get off your soapbox. Anybody else?
Gingers.
In case you didn't know, listener, Daniel is a redhead, bona fide, certified,
genetified ginger.
Genetified.
So, that. Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer. Super easy.
What y'all got?
Oh man. Miley Cyrus / Hannah Montana. When I found out, that they were the same person.
Pick.
Yeah.
You have to pick.
You can't get the best of both worlds.
You can't take. Yeah.
You can't have the best of both. I'm sorry. It's Miley Stewart and Hannah Montana. My bad.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Hannah on that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you just saying that you're
into blondes
and you don't want to? I'm just messing.
I was trying to figure out a pun, and then they all left. So, Steven.
Steven, what you got?
I guess the one I remember most is Allison Stoner. She was on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Because actually, as a kid, I didn't. I only had 3 channels, and none of them were Disney. So whenever I got to see like Disney, it was a pretty big deal.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, I forgot about Allison Stoner.
I forgot. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to go. It's a split because it's 2 different. I think I'm going with Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I think it's got to be.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Number 1. The other one is.
I'm saying childhood.
Well, the other one I was
in
thinking
2D.
through was what's her name? The girl from Atlantis.
Oh yeah,
Princess
Mila Kunis.
Wait, what?
Oh,
I just hit me what you said.
Derailed.
But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. But
That's going to bother me now
nonetheless,
until I figure out what her name is.
we're getting into an album
Kita.
of
Yeah.
yeah. We're getting into an album today of a former Disney star.
That's right.
That this was kind of their. They did some other things to break out of Disney, but this was like where they were like on their own, making it happen. Kind of, and I may get to some of this later. Some comparisons actually between our artists today and Olivia Rodrigo. So that's coming later. But we are talking about Britney Spears and her album Baby One More Time.
Just what you've been waiting for, listener. 4 white guys in their 20s talking about Britney Spears.
Who
25 years later
at the time of this album.
Yeah. So yeah, Jarrett, can you begin to give us a little bit of background on Britney?
Yeah. So Britney Jean Spears, born December 2nd, 1981, of the Mickey Mouse Club is where she got her start. She did a little bit on Broadway before that, but she really got her debut on Mickey Mouse Club. Can we recognize
who is in the Mickey Mouse Club? Because this is like a star-studded cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just to name a few, we got, of course, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, aka Ken, Carrie Russell, Christina Aguilera, JC Chazé, many more.
Wow.
So
what a show. What a club. Join the club.
Yeah. That's a good club.
I haven't looked for it. Is this on Disney Plus? Have we seen if any of these Mickey Mouse clubs are on there?
I'm going to search right now. You can.
I feel like we'd know if it was.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be something somewhere. Probably on YouTube at least.
Well, while Jason's looking it up, tell us more about, who like helped with this album. I just hit my entire mic.
It's real
Sorry, whoever's editing this, probably me.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. She's leaving there. She gets signed at 15. So just for some background, I've also been listening to her audiobook. So I've been following the story. So Mickey Mouse Club ends. She goes back to high school, like public high school, after being a celebrity, essentially. And during this time, like NSYNC's being started, Backstreet Boys, the girl group Innocence is being started, and so she gets invited to join Innocence, but she's kind of like, no, I kind of want to do something on my own. So at 15, she gets signed to Jive Records, and that's where this album is being recorded from, like 15, 16, 17 years old. And so we've got a lot of producers on this album. And typically what you kind of see with like an artist debut album, if it's not like a singer songwriter kind of thing, so you see this with Elvis, but pretty much anyone who comes in, they don't write their own stuff. You got a lot of producers, a lot of, let's give you this song and see how this does. So we've got the All Seeing Eye, gonna mess this up, Jorgen Elofsson, David Kreuger, Christian Lunden, Per Magnuson, Max Martin, I'm going to say Rami, and Eric Foster White, all producing, writing their own songs and pitching them to artists. And so that's what we get on this album. A bunch of random songs Britney didn't write, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but a lot of men wrote for her. Nice. And so she recorded this like over the span of a year and a half while she's finishing high school, New York City, New Jersey, Sweden, and it gets released during her senior year.
That's wild. I did look up. I cannot find a place to watch it. There's some clips on YouTube, but it doesn't look like it's on Disney Plus yet. I know they've been working on a few things because the House of Mouse, they're still trying to figure out how to get on there.
Good.
There's a few of those early 2000s, late 90s things. They're still figuring out the best way to put them up.
But
no, that's incredible.
It is crazy how Mickey Mouse Club was like the kiss of stardom.
Yeah.
Man. For a lot. Like you only listed a few of really big stars that came out of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them in there. Even from like the earlier renditions of it from like the 80s and beginning.
Yeah, because I think the original one started in like the 50s.
Yeah, like Walt Disney was alive and produced it when it started.
Wow. Incredible. Well, so
and of course
now,
they've kept him frozen so he can do the new ones as they come along. But
next gen,
the new Mickey Mouse Club. But no, so she records this album, 17 years old, about to turn 18, and releases all these songs. So Dan, can you give us a quick rundown of the track listing for this album? When we recognize it was kind of released in a lot of different ways. So like some places around the world, it had a certain number of like it was like 12 in America and 13 somewhere and 14 other places. Some people had remix, some people had a different remix, some people had both remixes. So we're mainly focusing on everything not counting the remixes. So Dan, can you run us down? What do we got?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first the song that named the album, the first single, ... Baby One More Time. The next single is yes, ellipses, but ... It's just better. You Drive Me Crazy, another single. Huh?
Said it rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, ... Ellipses. Come on, what are we doing here? Sometimes the third single, and sometimes was the third single. Soda Pop. In Europe, the fourth single was Born to Make You Happy, and the final single and the fifth European single was From the Bottom of My Broken Heart. Number 7, I Will Be There. Number 8, I Will Still Love You, featuring Don Phillip. Deep in My Heart, Thinking About You. Email My Heart, super popular for the 90s. Email My Heart, come on. The Beat Goes On, which, okay, I see this note here. Sonny and Cher cover. Is this a Sonny and Cher song that she covered?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, Sonny and Cher wrote this song.
Another album that has songs that I'm like, I've heard these before and I have no idea where they came from. And I thought this was a Britney song. I had no idea this was a Sonny and Cher.
Full disclosure, that was like one of the only songs I really jived with on this album. And I had no idea. That's very disappointing.
If you go and listen to the original, it sounds different. I mean, obviously because it's like 60s and versus the 90s, but it's night and day difference. So,
and then we've got the last two on this album are I'll Never Stop Loving You and Autumn Goodbye. And some albums, like on Spotify, you'll find the album that's got 15 and 16th song, and it's the remixes of ... Baby One More Time, one by Boy Wonder, one by Davidson Ospina.
And in case you're interested, listener, and wondering, like, you know, if you've grown up listening to this album, the North American one only has 11 songs, and you're like, why are we covering 14 songs, or why did different markets have 12 or 14 songs or whatever? It's because in America, we get the album the way, however they decided to put it out. And then overseas, apparently, American albums are cheaper because of the way that they're manufactured and put out. So for their each individual market overseas, they want people to buy the CDs they've manufactured. So they add bonus tracks or B-sides. And so some of the album songs, I think Autumn Goodbye was a B-side that for like one of the markets, they decided to put it on as an extra track. And then you can also find this on Spotify. This is essentially the one that's on Spotify. It's the deluxe version, has every single different track on there. But different markets want their own citizens to buy their manufactured albums. So they've added extra songs instead of buying the cheaper American ones.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
That's why we're number one.
Number one in my body.
That's the moral of this story.
So through all these songs, like, let's get into some lyrics and themes. And I'll just throw it out to everybody. I think we were talking a little bit before. I think there's just some interesting comparing the lyrics and themes, especially with like the stage in life that Britney's at, and with who her writers were. So who wants to kick us off?
You can definitely tell that this album was geared towards kids and teenagers of the 90s. I've also, as I said, I'm listening
what gives
to
you that idea, Jarrett?
Well, soda
Email
pop
my
for
heart.
one.
Soda pop. That's such a
Yeah.
thing that a 60-year-old guy would write in a song.
Right.
For kids.
But it's, it is interesting for me, like, and again, I'd have to go back and look at it, but I don't think Britney had any writing credits on this album. It was all, which was, I mean, that was typical for one teenage artist coming out, especially during this time period. Just have a lot of people write songs for different artists, like pop artists in particular. But it was just also interesting because she talks about it in her book, and it's recorded online and other stuff. But the writers actually had more, I don't know if it was necessarily risque, but definitely more like sexier lyrics that she was not comfortable with. So she had them tone it down. And I don't know, I'm going to open this up, but it's kind of like, and I think I've talked with maybe Jason Steven about this at different points, but like for me growing up, Britney Spears was kind of like almost like a forbidden fruit. Like I wasn't really allowed to listen to Britney Spears, or felt like I could get into Britney Spears like music because it was too much. And then now listening to this album, it's like, no, like this is great. I mean, I'm speaking as a man now. I'm not the target audience anymore. but
When were you not speaking as a man? When exactly did you
10
switch?
years, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. When the album came out.
Well, yeah, and I think it's we were a little bit past the generation. Like this came out in 99, and I will age myself as the youngest on this pod. I was born in 99. And so like
you baby.
This, yeah, I know.
One
but
more
like
time.
by the time I would start listening or like choosing to listen to the music that I would choose to listen to, I wasn't specifically trying to find songs that were released when I was born. Yet that was probably the music I could have listened to from Britney. So like the later stuff where she goes more down just kind of saying everything she wants to say trail, as well as like we know her for her music videos and sort of pushing a lot of boundaries, especially like the iconic Python. What was that from? That was VMAs, maybe.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody fact check me in the.
I got you.
Not you. You could do it if you want. I was just saying, someone listening to this podcast, fact check me on that. Maybe comment it on Instagram. If you go to the G.O.A.T pod on Instagram, find us, give us some comments. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. Like you're saying, like I always thought like, oh yeah, Britney's. Was I right?
Mm-hmm.
Bing, dude.
Look at you guys.
Shout out
for once.
Look at this brain thinking for once. But like this one, like you're saying, is not as crazy lyrically as obviously once she's not 17 years old.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I was noticing is some similarities with the way Olivia Rodrigo had her start, which she was a little bit older because I think she was already 18, maybe close to 19 when she started releasing the first album, Good For You. But I found it interesting, like how both of them wrote about kind of like deep, or not wrote, but like sang these songs about love in a way that seems like beyond what a like 18-year-old would write about it.
Yeah.
And both for very different reasons. One, Olivia's writing most all of her songs. I don't know if she wrote all of them, but she wrote most of her songs. And Britney had writers for her. So how it came about was different, but both coming out of Disney and both writing a super popular album for their age range of that high school, getting into college age range. but on these topics that seem like a little bit outside what maybe the majority would assume a 17 or 18-year-old is thinking on to be singing. So yeah, I found that neat. Anything else y'all have on lyrics or themes of this album? Cool.
I'll get more into this. Well, this is a great transition. Some of the lyrics and themes, and some of it ties into just how some of the tone and some of the chord changes in Baby One More Time. Oh, hi, dog.
What's up, dog?
Dog has joined the podcast.
We should definitely make a video of this with Marlon just coming in and looking Steven's face and then going off camera again.
I'm not sure where to start from.
I don't even know where you stopped, to be honest.
From the beginning.
I can just start over because if I could actually say a sentence or two, and my brain was like processing all of that. So I'll just, what I have to say ties both lyrics and themes and musicalities. So and that's really, really, I looked for music theory ish and found something for Baby One More Time. I'm sorry, ... Baby One More Time. But all right, for Jarrett or myself or whoever's looking at this. All right. Well, as a transition into musicality of this album and particularly Baby One More Time was pretty controversial because it's a serious topic. It's a serious subject, especially for a teenager to be like singing about this and asking for this in a relationship. Like this is a very serious topic, and so many people were up in arms about her singing about this and the message that it's sending to young kids. But what's even like more controversial is, I wouldn't say more controversial because it only is controversial if you know to listen for it and understand it and have studied it. But the chord changes in the chorus alone are so loose and they're so unstable. For instance, in the first line, my loneliness is killing me, we go from A minor to an E7 chord. A minor to E is super normal. And if you're sitting in the key of A minor, it's the 1-5, and it has, it gives the feeling that you're about to resolve. And it goes from E7 to C, which in the key of A minor is the 3 chord, which has some of the same notes as the A minor chord, but it doesn't quite resolve. So it leaves the listener still waiting for this entire progression to resolve. Well, it goes from C to D minor, which is a pure C major chord. So we still have no resolution. And it goes from D minor back to the E7 chord.
That's dope.
Placing us back into A minor. And so it in the chorus itself, it does a whole lot of never landing, never resolving, never finishing.
Just
and
like
A
life.
lot of teenage relationships.
Just like life. And it provides a whole lot of uncertainty the way that the lyrics did, the way that the song did. That was one of the cooler things that I found about the musicality in this album. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed getting to put these puzzle pieces together.
And interesting. I guess this is a lyric, but it's also neat. So I'm going to put this here in the middle.
Lyrical.
When the line "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" comes up, I've actually studied and read some books on the Swedish songwriters, and in Sweden at the time, a popular phrase was "hit me," which meant, and we've taken this on today, like "hit me up." Like, call me. So when they're writing the song, they're saying, "Hey, my loneliness is killing me. Like, I want to see you. I want to hear from. I want to like be with you. call me, and not like anything more than that, not like domestic or physical or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not abuse.
And I think that was something because I didn't know that background on like the songwriter saying that, but like I think generally I always thought about the song as like she's saying somebody physically hit me, but like as I was listening to it on my like this time being very like intentional again without hearing that, I realized I was like, oh no, she wasn't saying anything physical. Like she was like, hit me up, like that is the rational like progression of that lyric. But like you're saying, like I think people may not have noticed, like may not have known that at the time, and so it seems a little violent for a 17-year-old to be singing.
Well, and the music leads the listener kind of just through this nervousness. So if you're already uncertain, like from somebody who knows just a little bit more, I get the uneasiness because it's written and it's produced and it's designed to cause you to feel uneasy. Or maybe it's just playing off of the loneliness. Either way, it's great, like use of music and lyrics. And it's a lost art form in popular music, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think that leads into, unless anybody has something to cut me off. I know you don't have anything. My musical needities. I didn't end up having a lot, and I think it makes sense that I wouldn't have a lot. This is the first of our albums that we've gotten to that really fits into the true statement of a pop genre. And so pop, one, is being written to be insanely accessible. Like they try to generally stay away from not that there's like divisiveness in music, but they're gonna probably shade away like, oh, we're not gonna go full hard rock because some people don't like that. We're not gonna go full R&B because some people don't like that, or whatever. And so they find this middle ground that balances well with simple melodies, things that can be sung along to. You can notice that even scratching my nose and hitting my mic. Even in like, there's a lot of the choruses in this that have kind of not a choir behind it, but several voices that like help you to say, hey, I can sing along to this too. Very memorable, chorus focused. So I think that's one, just neat. Like this album is exactly a pop song. Like it is popular music. Like every single song has some kind of a hook that's very like distinguishable about it. There's not really any songs that are transitionary songs. There really aren't songs that are used to flow like a very specific storyline. There's no real song sets like we've seen in some of the albums we've covered so far. But it's just a set of a bunch of songs that are all hopefully going to be popular with somebody. Not due to their placement in the album per se, but due to just how they individually are written. I think the other thing is you notice a lot of R&B beats in this, which is a little bit outside what you would expect a pop album to have. But if you listen to a lot of the backbeats, very similar kind of grooves to that mid-90s R&B sound. Some like feelings reminiscent of like Boys to Men, even stuff that like the boy bands were doing, like NSYNC and so forth, which she toured for a little bit around that same time. At 17, 18 years old, she was, I think, the opener, or at least a part of the tour with NSYNC. And so you have this kind of like R&B boy band soul kind of feel in a teenage pop album, which is kind of neat. I thought that was interesting as I was like trying to think through like what's happening musically here. And I think the last like musical needity is just something that you see in a lot of pop music. Is it's super simple, but you can also notice when people try to cover really famous songs, it never comes across quite right. You're like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of that is there is a ton of stuff done in the tracking that is very minutia things that you don't think of like generally. Like if you're like, oh, how would I play this? You wouldn't think of those things. But then when you hear somebody play the song without all of those little added in parts, added in little like tiny solo from random other instrument, background using of like a mark tree to run some chime sounds, like you get rid of those and then the song is missing. Like it's missing a part of it. Which you also have when you have a different voice. I think everyone knows Britney's voice is very distinctive, and I mean, why people listen to her music a lot. But I thought that was neat that even in her first album, she has a lot of these like really quintessential pop things that help to enhance the music and also make it almost hard to cover, even as simple a song as it is.
Yeah. And one thing she talks about in her book a lot is how she really loves to dance. And I mean, if you follow her on Instagram, I don't think either one of us does. But if you follow her, because I've researched it, like she has a lot of videos of her dancing, like mostly by herself. But it's like she like loves music and she likes dancing. And so all these songs to some degree or another have some kind of like dance quality to them. I forget which one it is. But if you go and look at the music videos, I think it was sometimes that music video. It surprised me with how much dancing is in that video, which is a slower song, but somehow they're like popping and locking. And which, I mean, it was the 90s. It was the thing to do. Right. But it's like she made sure in all these songs there's some degree of dancing. Like whenever she's performing these at a concert, it's not just she's just there singing into the microphone. But like she, like all the pop stars at that time has the mic that's wrapped around the ear and it's right in her face, and she can like dance however she wants and not have to just focus on like being in one particular spot. Like she's doing whatever she wants to do.
Like
and
Usher.
So, yeah, like Usher. But yeah, I think that's just something that is also quintessential of a 90s pop album, is a danceable song or a danceable theme throughout the album.
Sweet. All right, let's get some favorites, some highlights. Not specifically highlights, but fave songs, least fave songs. Let me start with who wants it? Let's start with Jarrett. Let's get your favorite. We're gonna do all the favorites first, and then we're gonna come back and hit all the least favorites. So, what is your favorite song off this album, Jarrett, and why?
Yeah, well, Call Me a Sellout, but the title track is my favorite.
Ah, boo. Boo.
And I mean, it's a bop, man. Like I can find myself and have found myself since starting listening to this album for this episode. Like love starting the album because it's this song and it's fun. Like I enjoy this song. And yeah, I won't apologize for it.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, Beans. Steven.
And it's produced by Max Martin, who, also has worked with Taylor Swift and other fantastic artists that have risen to pop fame since this time period.
There it is.
Very neat.
Hi, Beans. Steven, what do you have for us? What was your favorite song on this album?
I sort of spoiled it at the beginning of this, but what was it called? Beat Goes On, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one really resonated with me, and it was really jazzy, and it's I don't know, just it seemed a lot more like mature and developed than the other ones. I think like there was actually some sense of like really good musicianship in the writing and all of that, and I don't know, I just really liked it.
Nice stuff. Hi, Danny, man. What's your top?
My favorite, and I think it's because it was a bit more unique than some of the other songs. Had a different feel to it. It wasn't so electronic drum heavy. Was "I Will Be There." I thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah,
I like it. My favorite drum roll.
yeah. Jason, what about you? What about you?
I'm gonna go with "From the Bottom of My Broken Heart."
That's another good one. And
I thought it was a neat story to like use the idea of like the bottom of my heart's just a very cliche phrase, but to do that like slight shift, it's like, oh, I get exactly where you're coming from. Like it's very relatable content here, and I don't know, I just enjoyed the melody. I think from the bottom of my broken, it was easy to kind of groove along to. You know what I'm saying? But then
there was a few songs that she had that reminded me of Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Boyz II Men was influenced by Britney.
A good old like R&B.
Yeah, probably.
It's possible.
That's my impression of someone who doesn't know how time works.
Little angels in the outfield action. It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
Hey, Back to the Future, man.
Yeah.
Part 2.
What do you think?
That new sound you're looking for? Listen to this.
And then I'm gonna kick off least favorite. My least favorite was Soda Pop. Could not be me.
Fair.
I know what they were trying to do, but it just felt weird. Like it just felt so out of place. And
It's
I'm like,
the perfect
Britney...
example of an older male writing a song from the perspective of a teenager, and specifically a teenage girl.
Well, it also like the genre, like
yeah,
what was it, like almost kind of like reggae kind of like vibes in the background.
It was desiring to be reggae, that's for sure.
It just like was a taste of a lot of things nobody wants.
But everybody got in the 90s for sure.
Oh yeah, it was very 90s. There was nothing about that song that wasn't 90s. And I'm a big 90s fan. I'm not against generally most things 90s. But that one, it felt like Cool Runnings gone bad.
I got to agree with Jason on that, and Jarrett, what you shared about Soda Pop. It is my least favorite.
Yeah.
It didn't do it. I started in, most of my takes are on first listen, and I just, nope. I thought I was in the wrong album. Like I just couldn't.
You get through Sometimes, which is a good song. You're like, whoa.
Sometimes it's good.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
All right, Jart Slush Bear. What do you got? What do you got for us?
What I want to open this up. What prediction do you have for my least favorite? Because there's a very particular pattern that has arisen in the last few episodes. And I want to see if you've picked up on it.
I think on patterns. I don't know. My only two guesses were gonna be Email My Heart and I don't know, probably Sometimes, even though I just said it. I feel like it's gonna be one of those.
Email My Heart
two.
and I'll Never Stop Loving You.
So it's been and it's not on purpose, but it's been a pattern where Steven's most favorite has been my least favorite.
Way.
I haven't even noticed that. Wait, so is your least favorite?
Do you like a
The Beat Goes On
or something?
My least favorite is The Beat Goes On.
Oh, you absolute so and so.
You rat.
I can't get into. I will say, as someone who has listened to the original and this cover, I do appreciate this cover a lot more than the original. But it's just I cannot get into it, and I feel like personally they were short of where they could have gone with this song. Just like I felt like it was building to something and it never actually got built. Like you got all the pieces of what's there, and then that was it. you stayed in the sandbox, but you never
don't think
built
you
a
have a
castle.
problem with the song. I really don't. I think you have a problem with
Here, no problem.
Steven.
Steven, what was your
my least favorite song was Jarrett.
Oh, can't stand that track.
Yeah.
That was one of the remixes, though, so you got to pick a different one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Probably I'd say it's Email My Heart, because I mean that's it kind of takes you out of it when someone, it's like she's singing about MySpace or something and you're like, what? But yeah, I don't even know if MySpace was a thing by then,
was
but
not.
yeah, well, so it's even
They
it's
just
even
discovered
older.
the internet then.
I guess I'm gonna stop writing my song called "Meet Me in the Puffle Shop." I guess that's not.
Yeah, you shouldn't have started that one.
I don't think it's gonna hit off with Steven too well.
Meet Me in Toontown, rewritten. Like,
Send me that telegram again.
yeah.
Fax, no printer.
It's not no effects, it's no facts.
Yeah.
No. It's good. All right. Let's see here. Let's get into our album ranker. Unless we have much more to say. I think we all have an idea of where we're putting this album.
I'm just gonna say we said it in the last episode, but we have a favorites playlist on Spotify.
We do.
That we will put on the socials if you want to follow that, so you can follow along with what our favorites are, and so we can remember what they are.
Also, speaking of our faves and things, also with the album ranker, we outsourced because none of us are good with numbers or spreadsheets. So our good boy, Tall Man Dan, hooked us up with a new Sheets document that I cannot find at the moment, which makes our lives so much easier. So Dan, can you give us a quick rundown? What is the overall consensus? And then before each of us give where we rank, can you tell us where our own individual rankings are at the moment?
Yes, absolutely. So also, if you guys are on the Google Drive, it is under the album ranker, just the third thing over, which is Larson Fun Time.
I see it now.
Oh.
Incredible.
So the way that it currently stands,
Excellent.
we have Abbey Road at number 1. That was a pretty strong consensus. Dangerous. Oh, no. Sorry. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band number 2. The Wall number 3, and Dangerous number 4. So we'll start with, Jason, we'll start with you.
We'll start with me.
Yeah.
You have to put me on the spot like this. So I'm rocking my own personal list with Sargent at the top, Wall at the bottom.
Oh,
and
rude.
What do you got? I'm sorry. Free Britney and all, but I'm gonna have to lock her in the basement at 5th place.
Man,
lots of good songs. I just struggle with it as an album as its whole. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I got it today. Could change in the future, but she's still locked in the cellar for the time being.
Really weird imagery you're using there.
I'm trying to think.
What have you done with Britney?
a little too soon there.
Well, not soon enough. Who knows? All right, let's hear it from Jarrett. Jarrett, what you got?
Gosh,
Jason wants to kill Britney.
No.
Jason's a weirdo.
He's getting locked up in meme jail right now. So that's
okay.
Yeah, that's an okay save, I guess. No,
it's not.
I'm gonna put this. I disagree a little bit. I'm gonna put this at number 4 above the Wall.
Okay.
I just find
threw
myself.
Jarrett, you're really ticking me off, man.
Stephen, you'll
It's a good thing we're in separate states. No, I'm going to find myself listening to. I would find myself listening to this album more than The Wall. And wanting to listen to this more than The Wall.
I see what you're saying. I disagree, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Steven really disagrees. So, speaking of Steven, your album ranker as standing right now, top down, The Wall, Abbey Road, Dangerous, Sgt. Pepper's, where does ... ellipsis, Baby One More Time go?
It's gonna go number 5. This is my leastest favorite.
I couldn't agree more. It's almost
Jarrett,
as if I'd done it myself.
You have made an enemy. We've been friends a long time, but this is the straw that broke my back. So,
Oh
wanted
no!
to say it.
Well, I still love you.
I don't.
Yeah,
Save us from this torture of the bash, the clash of clans.
Yeah, whatever
going
this
on over
is.
there.
Baby One More Time's got to go at the bottom for me. I think it's a great album, but there's just too many songs that I immediately listen to and go, I don't get this.
That's fair.
I don't.
You know what, Jared? You're gonna have to tell your kids that you put Britney Spears over Pink Floyd.
That's going down.
Do you know we're recording this?
So
we'll have this forever.
I've kind of already told them. Then if they listen to this,
fair
in
enough.
a way, yeah.
So
Time
here's
is
the
circular.
thing. Here's the thing. Here's how we've shaped out. In our rank choice voting action going on over here. Top ranked album so far from the whole pod at a 1.75 is Abbey Road number 1. I don't know. Okay, these numbers are all over the place.
Just go to rank. Just go to rank.
Just go to rank. Number
I understand
1
what you mean.
is
I see
Abbey
it.
Road. Number dos is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Number 3 is The Wall. Number
How does that feel, Jarrett?
Number 4 is Dangerous. And number 5 is ... Baby One More Time.
Poor Britney.
How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about this? Reactions.
I'm all right with it. I'm fine. I'm not going to cry later if that's what you're asking.
You're looking a little teary-eyed to me.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
just
won't be.
It's okay to
You
cry.
won't be teary-eyed for long because little did you know, I keep wanting to say next week. Next time podcasts are released, which is every 2 weeks, we will be releasing a podcast on the one, the only Santana and his album Supernatural, which I can say for myself, I think is going to rank a little above Britney this time. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. For me, on my album ranker, it's probably going to get in there. It's going to get up there somewhere.
Well, we'll find out next episode, and so will you, the listeners.
So, Jarrett, can you give us a little rundown how people can find us?
Yeah. So you can find us on Instagram at @thegoat_pod, or you can email us at thegoatpodemail@gmail.com. And if you listen to the outro, I will say it again there.
Oh, good. Thank
Hooray.
you. Thank you for saying it twice for us.
Yeah.
In case you missed it, Steven, give us an outro.